Well, you notice how I was just sitting there happily listening to the water and all that kind of thing. But we got a show for you today. Our dear friend, the Crafty Canadian, is here, and she's not in Canada. Good. Hi there, Sandra. What are you up to today?
Well, Dorothy, I'm sitting in lobby of a beautiful hotel in no, Kuala Lumpur,
Well,
Malaysia.
yeah, and that's fine. What made you think you ought to go there?
Sorry?
What made you think you ought to go there?
Well, we have a big map of the world on our study wall. When Gary retired, he was given a gift certificate for Costco. And we walked around the store for about an hour and we saw this map, decided that, hey, we should start putting pins in that map. So we have done that, and now we're adding more pins to the map.
And how long have you been here?
We've been away since the end of May, so we've been on the road for almost a month.
Well, and what is the biggest thing that you've seen so far? What struck your heart?
Elephants. They were the biggest things I've seen so far.
You know, and it's really funny as you tell about it because we oh yeah, and see here are the elephants, so we're getting to see them. And I noticed these elephants have ruffled ears. They don't all have, but those do. And
These are Indian elephants
right.
as opposed to African elephants. They're a little bit smaller, and all of these elephants have been now born wild. They were rescued, their parents were rescued from sanctuary, and they roam free. They go up into the mountains every day on their own, and then they come back for dinner.
Well, now here, these elephants don't have this. This is a newer time than when I was there, but they don't have the little canopies for riding. And is that not done anymore? Or?
Well, there are some places that will let you ride in, but these are rescued animals, and they are not ridden. They're giving birth to free
Oh, sure.
range elephants, I guess if you can call it that. So no, they're not ridden. They're not expected to do anything. They're just being elephants.
Well, that's just probably very good because it's very astonishing to see your child go by on an elephant um, when you can't reach him. So anyway, it was awful. It was just awful.
The funnest part was being in the river with them, and the babies were rolling around underneath their parents and around us. And so my only fear was actually being laid on by a baby elephant.
That's marvelous. So, and that's what you said, you're going to be another couple of weeks there?
Yes, we go onto a jungle tour tomorrow. We get on a train and go through the bush for a couple of weeks.
That's why, just marvelous. And would you recommend this? Is this something that people would enjoy, or do you think not everybody would?
Well, there's different levels to different tours. And we take basic tours so we can get into the bush and meet the indigenous people, get up close and comfortable with, the natural surroundings and stuff. But even the 3 or 4 star hotels are pretty nice. So it depends on your level of comfort. They have a little bit of something for everyone.
So you're really happy that you came.
Oh, absolutely. And Gary and I fall in love every day when we're traveling. We depend on each other. We've only lost one thing, and that was his hat today on the bus. So it's a sharp reminder when you get up from your seat to leave, you turn around and look at your seat to make sure you have everything.
Now, is
But
this
his hat was made in Vietnam, so we're going to be able to buy another one that's fairly close.
it's pretty good, pretty good. So is it something you would recommend? Is it something that people, you know people who love you, would you recommend that they do such a, what is it? Such an important thing as to
You know,
read.
I do, because it opens your eyes to different cultures, different people. We've been meeting people from around the world, and the food, all the experiences, the architecture, everything is brand new. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Um, Now, you should tell us a little bit about, and I know you sent some pictures of what you saw when you first got here.
Well, the only thing that's really worldwide, I think, is the plastic. There are plastic bottles everywhere. Now, people collect them, and sometimes we burn them and recycle them. But what I've found here very exciting is making art out of the actual plastic bottle. You can see the picture that you've got on your screen. The top of it is all the bottle, and the bottom of it is all cap. So they haven't changed and manipulated. They've just joined all those caps together with wire, and then they cut the leaves out of the plastic bottles themselves. And some of them still have the labels on them. If you can see in the picture the different colors of the prongs, if you will. And this tree is about 8 feet tall in the trunk, and then the prongs are above that. So it's quite a structure.
And now, what was the tree for again?
It was just an art installation in one of the galleries. They had several different structures and sculptures made of plastic that are not really manipulated, like they're not melted down or changes or anything. They were just simply cut and joined by wire or string, and made into different sculptures. Yeah,
And they look a lot like they might be spools of thread or something.
they're very interesting, aren't they? And
Yeah.
it's got a texture and manipulativity that enables it to become almost anything you want to, really, with a pair of scissors. And
So we know that you're most glad. Let's see, was there anything else we were supposed to look at?
well, up in the fauna, of course, we're in the jungle, and Malaysia and Kuala Lumpur has some of the most ancient forests untouched in the world.
Yes.
So,
So now, since you've done this and gotten to see these things, how about food? Pretending that you were going to have a dinner, maybe. What would you serve that people would really enjoy, or that you would really enjoy serving?
well, I tell you, they don't just serve a piece of protein and a couple of sides. They have multiple dishes on the table every meal. They'll have fruit and rice and noodles and chicken and pork. And the food, the plates just keep coming. And it's all beautiful and fresh. The thing I love about it, Dorothy, the fruit and vegetable has never seen the inside of a fridge.
Ah, That's true.
It tastes a lot better.
It does, and it's different. It's amazing how different it is to to the inside of a fridge. Well, so
This picking a mango fresh off the tree
oh, yeah.
and gathering watermelon out of the field it's one of my joys in life.
You know, we had a mango tree in our yard in Bangkok, and we had, and I'm fantastically allergic to mangoes. I
Oh
was
my
in the
goodness.
I was in the hospital for 13 days after. So keep that in mind.
Well,
Feels
here's
good.
allergic to seafood. So he's been going vegan a lot because, of course, seafood is number one on the menu in any restaurant you come to here. Yeah.
But see, you wouldn't want to give up the, you know, the trip or the experience just because of that. So
No, absolutely. And it's funny because a couple of days ago he said, you know, I'm just noodled out. I don't want to see another grain of rice. So we went to a greasy hamburger American shop and it was delicious.
you know they are delicious when you especially that way. It is funny. I was thinking not too long ago about the the difference in food, you know, like the fresh vegetables and that sort of thing. It's very different from what we get here and don't even think anything about, you know.
You know, as a child, my mother and my grandmother always had a fresh garden. And we'd walk in the house and go, oh, Mom, I'm so hungry after school. And she'd say, well, have a piece of bread. And then she boiled everything like a good English woman would.
A terrible thing in our life in living in Bangkok was that my husband, Sir, we called him, only liked American food. Now, this was not as practical as you might think.
I bet. It's very difficult to search out. And honestly, if it weren't for the odd craving, we wouldn't try.
Yeah, he didn't. It was really. Oh, and have you had any clothes made?
Yes, actually, I have some silk cotton blend pajamas, and I also got 3 meters of silk, and
Ooh.
I will be sewing myself something when I get home.
Well, I suppose you will. And then this is uh, silk sews funny, you know.
It does, yeah. I've got a bit of experience sewing since I was 5 years old, so
Well, you know,
I
we had when we lived there, I had a sewing ama who came every Thursday, and you know all you had to do was sketch out the whatever outfit you wanted her to make, and then she created it for you. Now
yes,
it looked
we went
horrific.
into a textile shop where I got my silk pajamas made, and I'm really sorry I don't have them on right now because it's 1:30 in the morning here. But they have several people and several machines.
Yes.
So one person is doing the zippers, one person's doing the pockets, the next person is doing the next thing, etc. Yeah.
What was the biggest surprise? What did you see that you didn't expect to see?
Um, that's a hard one, actually. There's so many little scooters. I guess I didn't expect so many scooters and so few cars. There's a lot of electric vehicles. Um, and the green spaces. Yeah.
Yeah, and the studio or the scooters are used for a lot of different things. So, well, now when you get home, are you going to incorporate all of these things into your crafty Canadian adventures? You
I
know what?
hope so a little bit. I'm
You know,
going to start working a little bit more on plastic structures. And you know that in previous shows, I've done like the tacky tiki torches, and I've used a bit of plastic in my crafts, but that I would like to explore more.
That really is a great idea, I think. But I just had it come to me that you know what you could do. Of course, you'll do what you want to, but it would be fun to do a virtual tour. You know, like do it online, and we could even charge people for it. You know, really. But you could. I mean, I was just thinking that.
Yeah,
But you can
I
go
do
around.
keep a journal,
Uh,
a daily journal with all our experiences, and it kind of coincides with all the photos that I've taken. So that I would like to, turn into a book or short blogs about travel. Hmm.
I think it would be fun. We should think about that. You know, it would be fun to do something like that. Because I think one thing that I've learned is that you never can see a place. You might think you saw it, but there's always more. You know, so
Absolutely. And the things that we miss, in Vietnam, Barry missed a little bit of the things of the war that he was really interested in. But we remind ourselves that you can't see everything. So
you're right.
enjoy the things that you get and get the most out of that as far as knowledge and experience.
Well, you know, and everywhere you go, and true here too, as well, there are things that you almost don't realize until, there's a play called Our Town, and the heroine says at one point, she says, "Do people realize life every minute that they live it?" And the stage manager says, "Some people maybe philosophers and the like, but most people don't." And I think I found that to be true. Here, so how lucky it is to have had this wonderful experience. And
That's right. And a dear friend, Dorothy, told me a long time ago that I'm a teenager. I'm a young senior, and you better get going.
it's true. It's true. So I think here's what I think. I think when you get home and wash everything, we should look at kind of like a workbook. Not a workbook is just right, but so that the people that use it can actually do some of the things, and I think that would be fun.
Absolutely. And it's funny that every time I travel to someone, I come back with best ideas, and it
Yes.
kind of opened my mind to new ideas. It opens a different part of your brain when you travel, I think.
I think so too. And I think everywhere you go, something is there that is something that you wouldn't have seen or you wouldn't have known about. I'm still thinking of that elephant. And my son was about 10, and the elephant, my son wore very heavy cable braces. So he wasn't very able to move very fast. So for some reason, his father seemed to think he should get on the elephant. And the little boy is on the elephant. And the elephant apparently looked around and said to himself, I've had about enough of this. And so the elephant began to run. And here is poor little Ross hanging on like this and bouncing up and down. And his dad is watching with interest but not doing anything about it. And it seemed to me it would have been good to do something.
Well, I don't think I'd stand in front of an elephant to try to stop him.
No, well, true. No. So, anyway, but just kind of because we've always got fun things to do. Let's try and think of some things that people might enjoy doing that we wouldn't get to do otherwise. And,
Absolutely. And Dorothy, the people's energy and their excitement, it's so infectious.
yes,
when they go, "Oh, I've seen Canada," or "I've been to North America," and shared experiences, they're always excited to share stories, and that makes me a bigger person.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, Thailand, of course, is the land of smile. And so you see that everywhere you go. We were so lucky to have the chance to actually live there. So
Mm, yes. And what I'm surprised with me is of course, we've seen so many ruins and Watts. Angkor Wat in particularly was, and it holds a lot of my tears now. Um, there must have been a lot of artists. You always think of all the slaves moving the rocks and such, but there's carving so intricate and detailed. There
yes,
must have been an artist for every section of rock.
yeah.
We have to change our thinking other than they weren't just laborers. They were talented, skilled artisans.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Well, so your homework is then to think of something that we can do based on what you've done. And let's see, um, 3 things that we wouldn't know without you.
Canada isn't frozen Iceland. We don't live in igloos.
But good, good.
And you can make art out of anything. As I've been walking around and seeing the sculptures of all kinds, coconut art and fiber art and all the natural things that are around us. Really, we've forgotten their beauty and their uses.
I think that's true. So anyway, this has been what you would consider that this has been a valuable and worthwhile trip.
Oh man, it's just been so wonderful every step of the way. But you have to be very careful because all the sidewalks aren't even. But the growth that we experience and the different things that we get to see and taste and feel are invaluable.
Yeah. And it turns out we're all the same people anyway.
Absolutely. And the joy that you can find in the simplest things. We get pretty complicated in our cultures, but when you go into the bush and they don't have money, but they are happy and healthy and knowledgeable of the things of the earth that we just have lost.
Well, I know I always remembered when we were in Bangkok, the driving down along the waterfront, and there were piles of garbage. There were piles of garbage, and there was a mom, and she was sitting on this. It was vegetables and stuff mostly, but garbage, and holding her baby with a look of such joy. Nothing else mattered but that moment in that little kid.
Exactly. And staying in the moment is one of the best things about travel for us because we don't challenge ourselves to go tomorrow or worry about yesterday. It's all about now and here.
And what can you do with it? But it's all very well, but sometimes just sitting and enjoying it is more than plenty. And
Absolutely.
sometimes it needs something more. And you're never going to work it out. Oh, I think my producer feels that we have had enough joy for today.
Well, I think staying in the moment and gathering joy from the immediate things around you is really important. I'm going to try durian fruit that stinks like crazy, but they are selling it everywhere.
I know. Oh, yeah, I know about that. Durian.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, apparently the party's over, and so it was good. Thanks for dropping by, and
Oh, thank you for having me, Joyce. It's
our,
really always fun.
our dear friend Sandra Solon, the Crafty Canadian. I just like to do that, and we will just see what we can cook up when we get home. Thanks a lot. This has been an adventure from the SOB Radio Network. SOB stands for Spunky Old Broads, and all the hosts are women over 50. So stay tuned for many more exciting, I can't even think of what to call them, adventures, but this was the last one today. This is Dorothy Wilhelm.